Welcome to the weekly. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Chris. And you forgot how it started, didn't you?
I was like, I was going to do something. No, let's not do anything different. And this week on the weekly, so everything came into my inbox. So there was very little sourcing of information this week. I was just getting constant emails.
So the lazy cast. All right.
This is a very inbox cast. Roll20 security breach.
Okay.
Modiphius is moving. HELLUVA TOWN on crowdfunding, 5 Parsecs From Home tactics, and a quick farewell to Hydro 74.
All right.
So let's start out. So I'll just read my email basically. This is the email cast. Hello, Roll20 user. It started the email. We are writing you about the data security incident that may have exposed some of your personal information. We take the protection and proper use of your information very seriously. For this reason, we're contacting you directly to explain the circumstances. So it appears that Roll20 had an administrative account compromised on June 29th. And for about an hour, they were open and people were an individual was mucking around. So unauthorized third-party access to administrative tools. And so what they're saying is it's not serious, but they want to make sure everybody knows. There was exposure to personal information, which means first and last name, email address, last known IP, and 4 digits of your credit card, which is not, you can't really do much with that. So no passwords or full payment account or addresses or credit card numbers were exposed, but they're just notifying us. Which is, I think this is going to come up once there's some bigger players, like once WotC gets their thing going, it's going to be a target for, denial of service attacks, and there's going to be all kinds of fun stuff that people are going to...
evil indie RPGers are going to be launching denial of service attacks, right?
Right. We'll take them down. Now we can directly assault WotC. Yes, and you can... if you're worried about anything or something has changed, like they're actually messed around with specifically your account, if you send a support ticket to incident data request to Roll20, they'll take care of that for you. But so they just claimed that the bad actor gained access to the company's administrative website for about an hour. And during that time, they were able to access and view all user accounts, but just in that limited way. Without any confirmation. So the spokesperson, Jamie Boucher for Roll20, was talking to TechCrunch and said, we truly regret the incident occurred on our watch. Although we have no evidence that any data was misused, no passwords or cards were exposed, we believe the importance of being transparent with our users about any potential exposure. And so I think
you have to.
I think that's good because TechCrunch reported that same hacker has stolen more than 600 records from 24 websites, and Roll20 was just one of those. So they were all over the place.
Wondering if they were specifically targeted, or it's just kind of like, I'm going to go after this group of
websites. Maybe it was just something they knew had a decent a number of accounts, and they were just going after data. But so this may be a recurring thing, and it's going to be harder. I think the smaller players in this are really going to have to be careful with their security, because if they break that trust early on with players, it may be harder to keep them, harder to keep you on the platform. If you're like, what, this is the second time this has happened?
Then again, for the second. But then again, I mean, what with all the stuff, this kind of feels like par for the course.
No, it is going to happen. But and I think the bigger players, because I think that's why they went after Roll20, because they know that they're, Roll20, I think some millions of accounts. They brag some large number of accounts, so that's obviously going to make them a target.
Right.
And but this is going to be a thing, and it's going to kind of separate who you trust and who you're like, oh, again, because I think people like with PlayStation accounts and stuff don't trust Sony anymore because of the number of times that they've been compromised. But so I thought that was
important news.
And a thing that's going to, we're going to have to keep paying attention to this, and it's going to be interesting to see the people that aren't talking about it and are talking about it. The people are just going to kind of hide it because they know it's going to hurt their reputation, and if they're just starting out, they don't want people to know that. So, get your multi-factor authentication and all that stuff going, folks, because we want to make sure that. We have some stable, because I just think about all the work that I've put into just Foundry, and it's local, but when you have something where you have storage and it's being backed up, that could all be gone. If a server goes down or something's compromised, you could lose in the middle of a campaign you've been playing for a couple of years, and guess what? It's gone now. So that's going to be fun when those things start happening.
That is just AI generated. Sorry, I'll stop.
And no, next message in my inbox was Modiphius Entertainment is moving. So this is similar. Hopefully they handle this better than Games Workshop did. Modiphius is moving their UK warehousing and order fulfillment to a brand new partner in July this month. And they're promising cheaper and faster shipping coming soon. So they say expect delays in physical orders placed in the UK, which is modiphius.net, after July 5th, 5 p.m. July 5th, I guess UK time. But they're saying it's going to be cheaper and faster, could be as low as half of the current price. I don't know for who though. Maybe just for London. Maybe. I don't know. But and they also are promising orders placed by 2 p.m. UK time will be shipped the same day. So that's pretty fast. Yeah. So they must say it must be a much better facility. But the U.S. web store is not going to be affected, and they also are saying if you made a mistake and you just ordered before you got this email, they do have a code that you can use. So shipping delay, all caps, and checkout will give you 15% off your order as kind of an apology because you're going to have to wait. So if you use this code during the next week or so, there's going to be a delay, so they'll give you a little discount on every physical product in the UK store. So just if you're patient, you can get a discount.
Yeah.
Who knows? But
you know what? No? If you're really patient and never order something, you get a 100% discount.
Oh, I never thought of it that way.
I never followed that advice.
Right. So what does this do for the Fallout faction pre-orders, you might ask?
What does this do for the faction?
Well, they will not be impacted because they're coming directly from the factory. Okay. So yeah, you don't have to worry if you pre-ordered their Battle for Nuka-World starter sets because they're not going to go through the warehouse.
Nuka-World, okay.
Yeah, the Nuka-World. Yeah, so that's what's confusing. They've got a bunch of miniature games now. Modiphius does for Fallout, and they have different names. This one is kind of an amusement park, like Nuka-World is an amusement park, and your kind of wacky factions, just like having a little gladiatorial battle in some amusement park, but the other ones are your campaign, and you're exploring the wasteland, and what minis are for what. Is it all compatible with each other? Is it different systems? I don't know, but they've got a few.
My exposure to Fallout is box covers on social media.
Right. Yes.
That's it.
I see. Okay, well, let's leave my email. Actually, no, this was email as well. We continue. Another email. So have you ever wanted to play as those tattoos that the rockabilly or the ska kids in the 90s had all over their arms? The kind of 30s, animation.
You could have just said like Rubber Hose cartoon.
Oh, okay, Rubber Hose cartoon thing, the Slasher Brothers. And have you ever wanted to play as those characters? Well, HELLUVA TOWN has got you covered. Okay. So this was something I got from Two Little Mice because the company that is publishing this game helped Two Little Mice publish their first two games, the Dante's Guide to Hell and Apocalypse. So Acheron Games is doing HELLUVA TOWN. So it's going to be an 80-page rule book, long and insanely illustrated by Shawn Dickinson, who does the Cuphead comic book. So good rubber hose style art. So everything you need to get lost in this neighborhood that never stops exploding. So it's a rules light system based on poker cards.
Interesting.
The hell of a system. Okay. Of course. Pre-generated iconic characters with the serial numbers filed off. Well, a lot of them, I think Betty Boop goes into public domain like this year. So
really? Okay.
Yeah. So so the 30 cartoons are coming into the public domain. So that'll be fun. And so your ability to create your own uncontrollable tunes, a customized poker deck, of course, nicely illustrated, a map of this crazy world. So they describe kind of where this neighborhood is located. And then they're going to do an art book by Shawn Dickinson, game art, exclusive art, and also that will enrich adventure ideas and prompts. So you can't go without it. It's not just an extra. It's going to be very crucial to planning your campaigns. They're going to do stickers and pins and a GM screen and a cool T-shirt, of course. So yeah, it's described as Cuphead, Looney Tunes, with the Goodfellas gangster style. So yeah, a little noir, Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
I saw this, stuff. And now that I didn't read any further, but now that I know that it's its own system based on poker cards, I am more interested.
Yeah. It might take a bit to get, because do you remember the Toon game? I forget who put that out.
I know of the Toon game. Wasn't that Steve Jackson?
Yeah, I think Steve Jackson put out the Toon game. So that was
never played it.
Yeah, that was trying to emulate this sort of thing. But this looks a little bit more like specifically oriented towards crime and like New York, 30 silent cartoon kind of stuff. Sorry. There's a detail on the crowdfunding page that I didn't copy over, but they tell you exactly where this neighborhood is located in New York. Like it's
so it's actually like the real world.
Well, it's like a fantasy world that appears between like Little Italy and I didn't copy that down, but it's pretty. This is funny. There's a lot of fun description but the tone. I think it might be tricky to get people into the spirit, especially if they never watched any of that stuff, or Cuphead is maybe their only experience of it. It's just like looped animation and rubber hose. But I think it could be fun, and you could do fun voices and fun characters. Like it could get really silly, like gangster voices. That would be fun.
I'm not saying I wouldn't do it. I'm just saying, oh my God.
But there's got to be some way, like as a game master, kind of to get people into the like, this is what we're doing, so don't think, kind of like with Outgunned, you kind of like this is just extreme, just try everything, just anything that you want to try is going to be possible, just like in the movie. If you push the button, it's going to make the thing explode, probably. I
would be really interested to see the system though, or at least go look at it, because I mean a lot of I'm trying to put my thoughts together here. I've said before that like certain games try to emulate reality, right? Like the rules of the system are kind of like the rules of physics for whatever game world we're in, right? Mm-hmm. That's some games. And some games are really concerned about replicating that faithfully, right? Kind of giving you some kind of laws or rules that were basically kind of not universal, but you can rely on them, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's real simple. Like, you drop something that falls because of gravity, right? We're going to, not with numbers and stuff, simulate that. But other games, and we brought this up during Outgunned, emulate a genre, right? And it's like, we're not really worried about reality. We're worried about, or we're more concerned about what type of game this is, what genre of game this is, and kind of the tropes and things that would happen in this game, right? Mm-hmm. So like Outgunned, right? Like you only run out of bullets when it's dramatically appropriate, right?
Right.
I wonder which this does.
Yeah.
I would hope it would do genre emulation,
right,
but then I would be interested, like cartoons, right? How do you do cartoons? Like some cartoons pretty kind of realistic, right? Other cartoons like just completely off the rails, wacky, right? Like I'm thinking of like Hammer Space, right? Like, are there rules for like pulling hammers out of your cleavage, right? Kind of thing, right? Like, that's what it is,
and
right?
You get flattened by a card, you show up in the next scene. Right.
So cartoons are all different, right? So yes, I would want to know what kind of style of cartoon this emulates, and then if they do anything to kind of like support that with the rules, and then what you would use to get people in the mindset, right?
I think having a lot like the art on the cards and things would help a lot, because it's like you're playing, you look like this is your, so you, so you have a
like lot less. Thinking about the cartoons, I'm going to like let's say like a lion is chasing me, right? And I turn around and I punch the lion, right? What's going to happen, right? Like, is the lion just going to like accordion fold or whatever? Or is it going to like fly up in the air and then like come down as the individual cuts of meat in like a butcher shop, Popeye style, right? I don't know. That was the thing that went into my head, right? Like sometimes.
Well, it depends on what card you play for the punch. And so that's fun too, because Malifaux does a nice job of using a deck of cards, and you have a hand, but then you're drawing off the top, so you can decide if you're going to play a card from your hand or draw from the top of the deck.
Okay, so you're given a choice between.
You can kind of mitigate and hold things for the big moments. And I wonder if they do something like that here, or if it's just complete randomness. Because complete randomness might serve the genre a little better, where it's like, I go to do this and it's 2. Okay, well, I guess.
But I mean, if it's poker hand, I mean, you might have like a number of cards in your hand, and then like there might be a number of cards in like the river. So you'd be like, okay, I could do this, or if I use those, right? You know what doesn't use a good job of using cards?
What's that?
Savage Worlds.
Oh, yeah. You didn't know. What do they use the cards for? Is it initiative?
It's initiative, something like that. You know what? Like, it's just completely devoid from the theme and setting of the game. It worked when it was Deadlands, right? Poker hand, cowboy, Deadlands. Yes, makes sense.
But
as soon as you move away from it,
Anyway. You just pull a card out of your pack and Elf throws an ace. So what else is going on here? We've got a this wasn't an email, but this is more
actual content.
Actual content. This is more Modiphius news. So we have 5 Parsecs From Home Tactics is up for pre-order. So there are 2 existing 5 Parsecs books. The first one that Modiphius reprinted, which is basically a hardcover collection of the solo play war game,
which I still keep meaning to get.
Yes, and this might be a good chance because things might be very available. So this new book is the tactics book, and it will include more solo or co-op skirmish adventures with procedurally generated battles, loot, character progression, and this expansion will allow for miniature agnostics play like the previous one did, but more complex campaign and game mastering. So you could actually play more RPG style. And the previous books that were already available were the Bug Hunt campaign, which was in their compendium, I believe it was called, and then of course the original book, which was just called their original just 5 Parsecs from Home. Yeah, I don't think it had any. So in the compendium will include in the and compendium which is the Bug Hunt will also include the Trailblazers Toolkit, the Freelancer's Handbook, and the Fixer's Guidebook, which will allow you to do different things, either expand your tactics, salvage, or visit the seedier side and take creepy jobs. So yeah, that's interesting that now they're expanding kind of the modes of this game and going a little further into it. And I do remember we talked about, I think, Cyberforge, the miniatures. They actually did, based on the illustrations that were in the book, they did a series of miniatures for this. So if you want something that looks like what the rulebook looks like, you're able to get those from
Wasn't there also a giant ship in there as well?
I think so. Yeah. They did some terrain and stuff.
Sorry, man, I don't get the appeal of the giant miniatures.
Giant miniatures. But yes, so it's a fast-moving system built for solo gaming from the ground up. RPG light adventure game, rules now built in, and that you can create a wide range of characters, whether alien, robot, or human. And miniatures agnostic, you have a starship, so you can upgrade your ship. And then there are also difficulty settings. So there's a super hard black and red zone jobs, and then now options for game mastering scenarios. So more complex RPG-like campaigns with connected scenario plots, environmental hazards, and factional conflict.
I do want to check this out, and I think there's a fantasy version called 5 Leagues from the Borderlands.
Oh, yeah, right.
Maybe done by the same people or not. That also reminds me that I think up for pre-order now or release is Osprey Games' Stargrave Dead or Alive.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And the reason I'm thinking about that is Stargrave Dead or Alive introduces solo play with mission generators and things like that for Stargrave. And I would be very curious, not saying I will actually do it because I don't have the time, right? I wish I had the time to do this, right?
Right.
I would be very curious how the two stack up against each other.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Because if they're both kind of designed, it sounds like 5 Parsecs solo first.
Yes, yeah.
Stargrave competitive first, right? So
right.
I'm interested in how these two stack up. In terms of solo play.
Yeah, and also the creator of Frostgrave Stargrave also did the Rangers of Shadow Deep, so he has experience with doing good solo campaign rules. So yeah, it could be, I think, and he'll probably lean into it being more narrative, like probably the series of missions and stuff that you play.
I also do want to see what they mean by like RPG light or narrative, because I think not a lot of times, but I mean, the player could provide their own narrative, right? Like you just give the missions, so you generate them, and then you do the work to make a narrative emerge from them, and
how your crew reacts to it.
Or someone gets wounded, or you find something, or whatever, right? So I want to know what they mean when they say, "Well, we're introducing light narratives as well." And I'm not saying it's negative, I just
I wonder
what does that mean?
I wonder if that just means that there's more going on between sessions.
Maybe.
So that you're, there's more interactivity. More, but I guess if it just means more leveling up, then
that'd be a bit dry and mechanical.
Right.
But anyway.
Yeah, so interesting. But that's a good point. I'd like to compare both of those because, very interesting. I'm the same with you. I have a digital version of the first rule book because of the Cyberforge. Right. But I haven't had a chance to go through it and see what the system is like and see like how they handle, how they lean into solo play and make it.
I also wonder. Well, one of the things I wonder how big of a table. Right, because solo is great, but if it's like 4x4, come on, dude.
I wonder because I think things are. It seems like stuff I've looked at recently, skirmish stuff, because I think Warcrow is 3x3 standard, so that's pretty good. Yeah, it keeps things pretty tight. I think when you get to larger armies, so you're probably gonna have to go up to 4x4 because you're gonna start on top of you, like the deployment zones are gonna be touching. But I think things for skirmish are sticking to. I think 4x4 is as crazy as you can get, but 3x3 seems to be most of it. Yeah, most of it is pretty small. And we actually were playing on 2x2.
Wow.
Yeah, for this little starter set, because you're just like fighting around a house or you're fighting around a lake. So it was very. It worked well. And a fond farewell we will end this week with. So yes, it looks like Hydro74 is no longer getting commissions from Wizards of the Coast. So he posted, this illustrator posted on, which probably means they're just going to rely heavily on AI for now. All right. So Hydro74, real name Joshua M. Smith, posted on his social media that the Vecna book, Eve of Ruin, is the last cover he's going to be doing. It was a gold and silver treatment. So he said, I just got my copy of Vecna, Eve of Ruin from D&D in the gold and silver. Is really fantastic. Sadly, Wizards said this was my last book since they are changing direction, which is disappointing, but freelance life was a fun ride. And so they showed all the covers, the alternative covers that he had done.
This is the alternative cover person, right? So kind of like
the very graphical, very, it looks like, kind of Illustrator, very hard graphical, usually printed in a colored foil.
Okay.
But those covers compelled me to want to buy stuff I shouldn't have.
They look cool.
I wouldn't have wanted to buy otherwise. Yeah, so he had done work on all the major rule books for 5e. So the Player's Handbook, Monster Manual, Dungeon Master's Guide, Xanathor, Volo, and the Icewind Dale, the Wild Behind the Witchlight. Yeah, so it was a pretty big, like maybe 20 books or something. It was quite a bit. So it's sad, and this means that they probably just don't want to pay so much anymore, and Wizards is going to go for a cheaper alternative, or maybe they're picking favorites. Maybe they're just going to say our alternative is Beetle and Grimm, or we're going to do the alternative,
maybe.
In house and keep it
maybe.
cheaper. So we get more. And if they want to lean towards digital, anyhow, they don't want to encourage people, because you don't care what the cover of your PDF is. So they don't want to, if they want to lean to digital and not physical, of having a tempting, interesting looking alternative cover is probably not something.
I don't know. Could be a lot of stuff too, or it could just be them gearing up for whatever the next edition is.
Yeah.
Right. They're like, okay, that was. 5,
right. Yes.
right?
Yeah. So
we want a new direction for the cup.
Right. So they gotta do the thing that they're doing now with all of the nostalgic characters on the covers of.
Is that what?
It's terrible. It's terrible.
Right.
But his words, not mine.
Yep.
I won't lie. I miss assisting, but hopefully. Wait. Sorry, I missed this. So I was told things are shifting to 6e, the creative is changing, which is pretty much the standard for separate editions. I won't lie, I will miss assisting, but hopefully I get pulled in for other assets, he adds. If not, it was a great time with a great company. His words, not mine. Yep. And I loved everyone I worked with. But there are good people there, I'm sure. Most of them have been laid off, but were good people there. So I get to see how much passion there was behind the scenes, and was honored just being a part of it. Because that was the biggest edition of D&D, so yeah.
Also, I'm not saying any of that is not true.
You liar.
As a freelancer, right? Like, okay, like as we said before, if you work for the company as a corporate person, like, you gotta say the correct corporate stuff, or you get pulled into HR, right?
Yeah.
As a freelancer,
that's true.
You don't trash the client, right? And if you want to work anywhere else.
Right. But if they liked his work and it was like a good relationship, they're gonna be sweet to him. Because I've had the long-term relationships where the editors were so kind. They could have just been brutal. Everything you turned in, they could have just torn it apart, which happened at sometimes. But when you've got that good relationship going, they're just, this is so great, and we love this, and we love this. So that was probably the good vibes he was getting from them.
It might have been one of these, like, love your stuff. Unfortunately, we're going in a different creative direction for 6e. We'll be in touch with stuff like that. Right?
Yeah, so we'll see what they come up with. Just a bunch of PDFs probably, but anyhow,
it might be a bunch of PDFs covered in AI stuff.
So farewell, Hydro74, or you can just move over to Pathfinder and then do alternative covers for that. Find a competitor to really spring your stuff on. All right, so that's going to do it for this week.
Oh, sweet.
Where can people find you?
My brain fell out. I don't know. Blue Sky, I guess. Blue Sky. A little bit more on Threads and Instagram, only because I can cross post.
Yes.
So that's pretty easy. Recently I found, I don't know. Haven't been doing any war game model stuff because it's just too hot and tired.
Yeah.
But I've been pushing pixels around, and I found kind of an open CG set of rules.
Oh,
And I'm like,
Uh-oh.
I've got all these pixel art assets that I'm not doing anything with.
Some print-on-demand cards are coming. Heat-sealed foiled packs are coming.
Not that, right? No random booster bullshit.
Okay.
Yeah. Now I'm really stuck between what size a card,
Oh.
right? Because the normal poker cards, I'm like, 54 cards, that's like 3 sets. I'm like, that's around like $9.
Mm-hmm.
Upside is they're normal size and you can sleeve them.
Right.
Half size cards, I'm like, you can get like 64 for like less. And it's like,
they fit in a mint tin.
don't get me started on the mint tin. I love the mint tin stuff, right? But I'm like, they're half size, you would get more. They're a little bit cheaper, but who has sleeves for them?
Yeah.
But if I'm not designing a game that's going to interact with other games, then do they need to be? Anyway, that's all the stuff I'm thinking about stuff. Yeah. So if you want to see me just post stuff, and I got to get to the point where I'm like, I got to develop some like rules for these cards and stop tweaking the art that goes on them, right? They're just like, looks nice. They don't fucking do anything. Right? Anyway. So yeah, that's a Blue Sky, Instagram, and Threads. Hivemind, HYVEMYND.
Nice.
And how about you?
How about me? Well, I'm taking over this channel with Abuse Cartoons. Yes. So once a month, you're going to see both on the Abuse Cartoons YouTube channel and here the live stream for drawing my a month of cartoons. So I just finished July, and
wow, you are on it.
Yes. So I'm done with July, and it's just the beginning of the month. So it's a longer stream, like a 3 to 4 hour stream, and just kind of hang out, and so people can pop in and out, and it covers more time zones because when I would just pop in for like an hour and a half, nobody could catch it, and it's just not as fun when you're not interacting with it, when you watch it from the archive. So Abuse Cartoons on YouTube and Twitch, and if you're subscribed to this channel, you'll be notified when it goes live as well. And feel free to ignore it. And I'll put a playlist. There'll be a playlist on the channel, but I won't kind of pollute the video list with cartooning, just in case. But I did offer, because I want to also plug one more thing. Matt, the GM and player that I work with, just started a Substack. And so he's writing on RPGs on the Substack. And I promised if I draw anything on the live stream, because it's a monetized channel, he can use it to illustrate his Substack. So I'll be doing more fantasy illustrations and stuff. While on that live stream. So
single panel gag cartoon fantasy
art.
Yes. Okay, cool.
Right. So I'll be doing some additional stuff that Matt will be using. So that will be fun. And yes, and if you like what we're doing here on the weekly, please consider becoming a weekling.
The strongest of all supporters.
Yes, at patreon.com/upturntable, and also upturntable.com, the website for everything, and on all social media, upturntable. On the website, we've got audio of the actual plays, video lists of all the videos, and then hey, all right. Thank you for the follow. And we've also got, just everything that we're doing for the channel is up there. The lore videos and audiobooks and all that good stuff. And and then John Carter will be going up. Nice. So we've got 30 hours of John Carter of Mars.
That's about like one audiobook of John Carter.
Yes, it is.
And I bet it's like 1,000,000 times better, because boy howdy, when you get to like book 6, you're like, oh god, how many more secret places on Mars could there be, right?
Yes, when you're serialized, you just got to keep cranking it out, don't you? Yeah. All right, so that will do it for this week, and we'll be back next week.
Later, mortals.
Goodbye.